Introduction. Introduction of the show. Introduction is over now. It's the show.
Hello there. Thank you for watching our Doctor Who episode number 116.
Wherein we discuss the 116th episode.
No, serial.
Logopolis.
Logopolis.
That one.
Alright. I'm Hatter. This is Holden.
Today, I'm Christina Aguilera today.
You're Christina. You identify as Christina Aguilera.
Where are we drinking? Boy, she was cool, huh?
Yeah. I'm drinking Rumpelmints. You?
Jack Daniel's Southern Peach. Georgia Peach.
Sounds good. Alright. Yeah.
Rumpelminch.
So this is Logopolis. For those who are sharp-eyed, you can tell several things from it. First of all, the master.
You know you can
Also
zoom
here.
in now on YouTube videos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you got the master here. And for those of you who are also eagle-eyed, you see we have a brand new companion, Tegan.
Take advantage of that 4K camera.
It is a 4K camera.
Yeah.
Alright.
Do we upload in 4K?
No, we upload in standard definition, 720 by whatever, and then it converts it to HD, which
Converts it.
yeah. So we take a 4K,
It just fills
we run
up.
it down, and then it converts it from the regular YouTube upload to 1K, the regular high definition.
Where do those pixels come from?
It's conversion.
Do you feel disingenuous that only half of you is on the internet? It's not the true. It's not the. It's an artificially inflated definition of you on the podcast.
You want me to stand up, show my legs? I mean,
Like an artificial.
Oh, okay, no.
Because only half of the pixels that we're filming makes it to the.
Well, no, they
audience.
extrapolate from what's there. They go, oh,
Well, they just
that
kinda
shirt's red. We're going to film the rest of the shirt with red.
Oh, I hope they take out all the stains and the
The sweat. Yeah. Alright, anyway, so if you can see the back.
Logopolis.
Alright. We didn't exactly pick up Nyssa last time, despite the fact she was in the serial. She actually shows up in this one, but she's considered a companion from the last one because she was there. Right.
With the doctor.
And here's Nyssa, and now we also pick up Tegan. Tegan's the one in the stewardess's.
In fact, it was the
Outfit.
doctor that brought her back into the party.
Yeah, well, the Watcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the doctor's avatar, right? Like we saw with his mentor.
What do they call it? An aspect.
Yeah.
It's an aspect of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, spoilers.
Spoiler.
But if you're watching this, you're expecting the whole thing to be spoiled anyway.
Yeah. They never see the polarity coming.
Nah.
No, never see it coming. Did we reverse the polarity a few times this episode, right? This season? Serial?
Yeah, the season maybe. Alright, so it's a very strange and different serial. It's not your normal serial.
Did you notice how the Master's sonic screwdriver looked like a sex toy?
It wasn't a sonic screwdriver. It was his weapon. It's a thing that miniaturized the people.
Yeah.
It's not a sonic screwdriver.
It did other things, maybe. This is probably a sonic screwdriver.
It's
could probably-
never referred to as that, and he...
Well, it's never referred to.
And the sonic screwdriver normally isn't a weapon unless it's doing something sonic.
Well, the Master's is.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
What did the Doctor ever do with his ion bonders? Nah, ray. Sleep gun that he took off of Nyssa.
I don't know.
No. He should have kept it.
Yeah, that would have been a wise move, but yeah.
To avoid some unnecessary conversations.
Did we finish all the questions from last time? No.
Last time, I think so.
Okay. Just making
Last week was the Keeper and Track.
sure. Yep. Just making sure, because I haven't finished watching all the episode.
So in Tracking, where was Spock during that serial?
Wrong planet.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so
So
anyway.
Tracking gets erased off the face of the universe.
Yeah.
Like a real Star Wars story. Tatooine.
Right. Right. So to begin the beginning, the Doctor and Adric are in the TARDIS, and the Doctor's thinking he's in this little garden cloister or whatever.
Yeah. Very Greco-Roman.
Yeah. And he and Adric's like, "What are we doing?" And the Doctor's like, "Well, I was thinking about that." And Adric's like, "Well, aren't we going to Gallifrey?" And the Doctor's like,
he's pacing and murmuring
to himself, yeah. And he's like, "Well, I don't want to go to Gallifrey particularly because there's going to be a lot of questions about
where's Romana?
Yeah, where's Romana? And there's going to be an inquiry and all this stuff." And so he's like, "I'll tell you what, we're going to stop at an old place of mine, Earth. And then we're going to go to Logopolis." And Edric's like, "Why?" He says, "Well, the TARDIS is falling apart. This is where the whole thing of entropy comes in.
Yeah.
Big time. All this stuff about entropy." He says, "And I've been meaning to get the chameleon circuit on the TARDIS fixed. So we go to Earth, we do a perfect measurement of the dimensions of a police box, and then they can, in Logopolis, put this into computation, and we can fix the chameleon circuit that way."
How many police boxes do you think were in Europe at that time?
He literally says in the serial, most of them are, there aren't that many of them left, and most of them aren't used. He says, "Well, there's still some used in the north."
Yeah.
In the far Scotland or the
traffic areas.
Well, there's not really nobody living there.
Yeah.
He says still some in use in the north.
So out of all of those, he happened to pick the very same one that the Master chose to.
Yes.
Envelop.
Okay. Spoilers. So the Doctor shows up, tries to land, and he's right next to a police box. However, that police box turns out to be the Master's TARDIS. So he envelops the Master's TARDIS with his TARDIS, and this creates an almost infinite regenerative loop.
Gravity bubble.
Yeah, where they've got the police box inside the TARDIS, but it's the Master's TARDIS. So the Doctor and Adric go into it. Adric breaks into it with his star.
Yeah.
His
gold star he takes off to pick the lock of the Master's TARDIS, right?
Yeah, nice little gold star.
How does that work? He picks open the Master's TARDIS with a tin star?
Well,
don't you think it'd have a...
Okay. Yes and
metabolism
no.
reader?
Yes and no. Because the Master's TARDIS was also around that police box, right?
Yes.
So when the Master's TARDIS was around...
When he warps there, it's over the police box. So the police box is now inside the TARDIS, right?
Right, but hold on. Mm-hmm. The Master's TARDIS got the dimensions of the police box as well.
Yes.
So his TARDIS was around the police box. That was that weird wobbling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the police box was inside of his TARDIS.
Right. So the police box was inside the Master's TARDIS.
Yes.
And then the Doctor's TARDIS did the same thing and put the police box inside of it. So
it put the Master's TARDIS inside of the...
Yeah, essentially. Right. So
how does Adric pick open the Master's TARDIS?
He doesn't. He's picking open the actual police box, but is gaining access to the next TARDIS and the next TARDIS and the next TARDIS and the next TARDIS.
How does that work?
Well, you saw it.
Okay. I thought the police box was inside of the Master's TARDIS. And the Master's TARDIS was inside of the Doctor's TARDIS.
Right. They're using the same skin. But essentially, and then the Master... Okay, hold on.
So if you paint your door green and I paint my door green, my key will open your door.
No, but apparently a gold star will.
I guess.
Okay. So in the meantime,
there's a couple of birds driving down in a sports car, right?
A couple of ladies,
a stewardess.
Yeah, one of them
a
was
hostess.
Right, and that's Tegan.
A Twinkie, hostess snack.
No.
Yeah, Tegan and her auntie Vanessa, also a companion.
No.
She rides in the TARDIS.
No.
She doesn't stay around for very long. She does.
She doesn't ride in the TARDIS.
She gets in the TARDIS.
She enters what essentially is the Master's TARDIS, not the Doctor's.
So she's
never rides in it.
Master's companion.
No, and he kills her.
But she dies in it.
No,
She's a
she
ride
dies
or die
outside.
kind of.
No.
She's a
not
ride or die
companion.
kind of companion.
Okay.
You want some peach for your Ruppelmans?
Hmm?
Stiltskins?
No, I'm good.
It's so bland looking. We'll put some color in it.
No, taste it. It's delicious. No, taste it. Taste it.
With the peach?
No.
Okay. I go peach.
It's already very minty.
Yeah, you should mix those. Adds the peach with the mint peach. Tastes like a Sonic drink.
I'm good like it is.
Okay.
All right. So anyway,
And then she dies because the master shrinks her into like a Barbie doll. So she's kind of the master's companion.
no, she's not the most.
So
You don't kill companions.
Auntie Vanessa's dead.
All right. Master doesn't have companions.
Along with the police that was trying to call on the master's TARDIS police box.
No.
He gets shrinked too.
The master doesn't have companions.
With the master's screwdriver, he shrinks him and Auntie Vanessa.
It's not a screwdriver. You stop that. All right.
And then what happens after he
All right.
shrinks them?
Hold on.
He puts them back in the sports car. How weird is that?
Okay. Hold on. There's actually a plot line here. All right. Tegan's trying to get to the airport. It's her first day as an air stewardess. Okay.
First day it was?
Yeah.
Oh, she was. I thought she was in training or something.
Yeah. She says first flight jitters, and the aunt's like, "Well, you're not a stewardess yet," and she says, "After today, I will be."
And
it's
she
her very
already
first day.
likes airplanes more than cars.
Yes. So she's trying to get to the London airport. There's an actual London airport.
Born with wings, says Auntie Vanessa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
cool would that be?
Born with wings?
Yeah.
Be hard to find clothes that fit you.
Well, I mean, Angel from the X-Men does it. He wears that like BDSM harness and straps his wings down. And just puts some color shirt on.
There you go.
Did you watch that one, the third X-Men movie?
I don't think
it was
so.
terrible.
Maybe.
It was terrible.
Wait. Last Stand?
Mm-hmm. It had the Frasier as the Beast.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
That one was a stinker.
All right.
So then the master shrinks Auntie Vanessa and the policeman, puts them back in
Hold on. You're skipping stuff.
Because it had a flat tire, they pulled over.
Okay.
So that's how. Alright, you do it.
Tegan and her aunt are going to the airport so she can get to work for her first day. They have her flat. They pull off to the side. Before this, there was a police officer using the police box to make the call, and
he was on a bicycle.
He gets yanked into the police box.
Shrunk.
He gets shrunk.
So he was a companion too.
No, the master does not have companions.
Okay.
You are being extra.
What's the
extra contrarian today?
What's the qualifications for being a companion? Is going in the TARDIS.
Okay. There's several of them. One is you have to, you don't have to do all of them because there have been companions that have not done all of them. But the main one is you fill the companion slot.
Yeah, like Auntie Vanessa and the policeman.
No.
Okay.
They're not there to help the master. The master kills them, but you have to be there to help the doctor. Like I said, the master does not have companions.
It's really sad when companions die.
The master does not have companions unless the master is the doctor.
See, you think you're clearing it up, but that's
no, but you'll understand that in about 6 years.
Alright, I doubt I will.
I will reference you back to this.
Alright. I'll make a note of it.
Alright. When we watch The Power of the Doctor, you need to reference back to this.
Back to this one.
Yes. Well, that statement. That the master doesn't have
doctor?
companions unless the master is the doctor.
Power of the what?
The power of the doctor.
Power of the doctor, okay.
Okay. So, the master who had taken over Tremus's body back in the last serial and now has a new lease on life, and he does something of the same thing in the TV movie. Kills the cop, kills Auntie Vanessa. Tegan and Auntie Vanessa are arguing over the tire forever. They're sitting there trying to change the tire.
Yes.
And the aunt's like, well, maybe a night errant will come.
Yeah.
And Tegan's like, this is the 80s. There's no night errants. Because this is...
night arrogance.
Errands. Errants.
Yeah, we don't have those anymore.
Not really, no.
We probably have a few arrogant ones left.
Alright. By the way, this aired from February 28th, 1981 to March 21st, 1981. Obviously not a leap year. And so she's like, this is the 80s, there are no more night errants. Mm-hmm. And today is March 27th of 2023.
And Mugatu's in this one.
Lots of Mugatus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't let me forget to bring up The Power of the Doctor when we watch that in 6 years.
Yeah, 6 or so, 7, 8 years.
You'll remind me. Which one is it?
I'm trying to remember.
Which one is it?
The last one.
Okay. I'll put it.
It's currently the most recent episode. What?
This one?
Yes.
Alright, we'll put it upside down.
No, put that back.
So it'll remind me in 7 years to reference back to this one, Logopolis, which will also be upside down. That's how we correlate the two. And that way,
those are not staying that way. All right.
I'll remember the mnemonic device. It's so stupid you can't forget it, right?
Okay, use a mnemonic device. Don't flip them upside down.
Well, it's gonna work.
And it's not.
I already can't forget this conversation.
It's not the connection between these two episodes. It's the statement that I said for our podcast episode.
So I'll keep the notebook upside down too.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. That way we can correlate all.
Somebody hire this guy. He needs a job. All right.
And then what happened? Episode 4.
So after Tegan and Vanessa quibbling over the tire forever, Tegan finally goes and heads off to the shop. The funniest part is there's a TARDIS, like, there's a police box, like, 20 feet away. They never see it. But they do notice that the strange man in white standing across the highway, just watching them.
Well, there's so many in Europe, especially.
Well, this guy almost looked mummy wrapped.
They don't get a lot of sun. It's very cloudy and overcast.
They're British, they're pasty.
They look alike.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Tegan ends up going into the TARDIS. She thinks it's a police box, so she goes in looking for help.
Now she's a companion, right?
Well, yeah, because she goes and she helps the doctor.
Okay.
And she rides it.
She's now a companion.
As of this serial, this is not this exact moment. She hadn't even met the doctor yet.
Yeah, the white guy. It's this one. See, look how pale he is.
She'll meet him at the end of the serial.
Yeah. So she's now a companion.
She is later in the serial.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
When?
You could argue when she meets the doctor, because they've already traveled.
Okay.
Alright.
That is the criteria.
No, it's a criteria for her.
So each companion has their own criteria.
Okay, you remember when the doctor was dying? Spoilers last.
And he is stuck on Earth.
No, and all the companions show up in his mind except for the ones that are there.
He's having the flashback.
Yeah, you remember that? It showed all the companions. You remember it showed all the companions?
Did it happen in episode 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the companions.
Okay.
And then the 3 who were around.
Oh, just of him.
Yeah.
Baker. Yeah.
Right, just Baker.
Except his current ones.
Yeah, they were, because they were still there.
And one was dead. Auntie Vanessa.
No, she was not a companion.
Oh.
She didn't show up in his dream. In his vision.
Because it's only the older companions, right?
Auntie Vanessa looked in her 50s. Okay, how much have you drunk? You are being extra contrarian today.
And then what happened?
Okay, so...
Cloister bell.
Yeah, hold on.
I have that written down.
Yeah, so there's the cloister bell. It's the first time we hear it.
Is that like a clacking alarm?
Klaxon, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of, yeah. Alright. So, Adric and the doctor hear the cloister bell. They try to get back to the front.
Clacks off.
No. And the cloister bell stops. They eventually get back up there. And that's when they're going through the TARDISes down and down and down and down.
Tardai.
Yeah, eventually...
It keeps getting darker and darker, too.
Yeah. So you've got...
Because more shading.
The TARDIS and the TARDIS in it. and then they go into that TARDIS, and then there's another TARDIS in, they go into that TARDIS, another TARDIS in, it looks like an Escher painting, just almost infinite.
And the British guy was like, TARDIS, in it.
Yeah.
That's what you said, in it.
In it.
In it. And then a TARDIS.
Yeah.
TARDIS, in it.
In it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so eventually the Doctor manages to get out, and...
TARDI, in it.
TARDISes. The Doctor says TARDISes.
In it. Adric says TARDISes.
Adric says TARDISes.
What's that stand for, though? The acronym.
Time and relative dimension in space.
ES.
Plural.
P for plural. TARDIS. I like it.
You're insane. Alright. So where's the first episode end?
Shrink Ray. He shrinks Auntie Vanessa.
Oh, that's where it ends. Yeah. Okay.
She opens the door and goes,
okay.
Ah!
So anyway.
After the...
So we got into episode 2. So she goes in there, the Master shrinks her. You realize it's the Master because she's shrunk. End of episode 1.
Doctor wants to change the look of his TARDIS.
Right, that's the whole reason he's going to Logopolis.
Yeah. Episode 2.
Do you have any questions for someone?
Time Lord permanent interference is what he refers to Romana's leave of absence. Breaks a cardinal rule of the Time Lords.
Yep.
Isn't that what he's doing?
Okay, in theory the Doctor tries not to interfere. He also, if he interferes, tries to only interfere as little as possible. But Romana's doing a full-time, permanent interference.
And he doesn't want her to be punished for that, right? He doesn't want the Time
Lords and he doesn't want to be punished for letting her go.
You could say the same thing about the meddling monk, right?
Yeah.
But the Doctor turned into a vigilante, right? Because he didn't like him interacting with time, and he stuck him out into arbitrary.
Yeah. Quite literally, in another universe, the Doctor could have been a bad guy. You know, he sometimes he literally goes mad with power, and he breaks rules.
He's biased, right? He enforced the rules with the meddling monk, but not with Romana.
He respected Romana's wishes.
He's like
to help, whereas the meddling monk was hurting and changing things.
Well, he was helping the losing team, right? He's changing history. Like Romana.
Well, yeah, but he was changing history for his own ends. Romana doesn't want to change history; she wants to help the future. And anyway, it's in another universe. Speaking of which, the E-Space gets tied in this serial very nicely. I like that.
Romana.
Huh?
Being in E-Space.
Well, yeah, but they...
Away from the Time Lords.
Right.
Are the Time Lords a hive mind? Because the Doctor says, well, we all have the same mind.
No, they're not a hive mind, but they do tend to think alike because they had the same training. Because he and the Master went to university together.
Do you think we act alike?
You and I?
Yeah. It's because you went to a different school, right?
I'm also like 30 years older than you, or 20-something years older than you. Yeah, about 28 years old.
That's why we don't. So episode 2, the Doctor's TARDIS is low on power, right? So he does this really sad speech. The previous episode, when they're running around ignoring the cloister bell, he opens the door to Romana's room and K9's room, and he goes, Romana's room. And it's just like she left. Okay, never mind.
And we see a bunch of different rooms and a bunch of different corridors and stuff that we haven't seen before in the TARDIS.
And then he's trying to rematerialize after he realizes the whole thing with the TARDIS is. And he says, we need to draw power from somewhere, and he ejects Romana's room.
This actually establishes a precedent, which comes up in the next serial, and further down the line comes up even more.
That the TARDIS has too many rooms?
Well, no, because it's an infinite dimension inside of there, and rooms are created as necessary, but they're not gotten rid of. But you can eject them in order to lose mass and move faster, or eject them to gain power.
Where does it eject to? Because I didn't see her room outside of the
It
police
turns matter into energy.
box. Oh. So it's not ejecting it.
It's
injecting it.
it destroys it.
So he injected Romana's room. They have enough TARDIS power, it works now.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, all this comes about because the Doctor's trying to fix the TARDIS because it's falling apart. It's too old. And
The police are here now.
Yep, the Doctor walks out, runs into the police. The police find they showed up probably because the cop was calling from that phone booth, and he died. So they show up, and there's a detective and 2 cops. And the detective talks to the Doctor, and
the chessboard's gone.
Yeah, it's over there.
Oh, why is it over there?
Because I was using this for something else the other day.
What are you using it for?
I was working on Digimon deck.
You play Digimon?
I've got Digimon deck, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
No, it's not over there. It's in the kitchen.
Oh, who do you play Digimon with? Digimon.
Daryl, Beard, and Javier.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
We should play sometime.
I don't have any.
Oh, if you get one. Alright.
Do they still make Digimon cards?
Yeah. It's on set 12 or something like that.
Really?
Set 13.
Did you ever play the World of Warcraft trading card game?
Yes.
Did you keep those decks when they discontinued it? Or did you get rid of them?
Eventually got rid of them, yeah.
Would you play if you had a deck?
I mean, maybe.
Remember those little dungeons that they do?
You'd have to find somebody to play with. Oh, you're talking about the raids?
Yeah.
Those were cool.
Those were cool.
I liked that game.
We never really had anything like that in Magic, like a cooperative experience like
did.
that. I know it wasn't good though. Like with the weird version of Arch Enemy where they had the big oversized
card. Arch Enemy, yeah.
And it was Garrick and the wolf tokens.
And that went back to the World of Warcraft stuff. Because they took the basis of Magic and they made it a really good multiplayer cooperative version.
Better. And Magic never innovated from that.
Nope.
Right. And then they canceled it. Right.
World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 15 years ago.
So we had this cool, original, innovative thing that improved upon the source material. And then they got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't have it anymore.
Well, the problem was the company that was creating it did some bad things.
Cryptex?
No, you're talking about Cryptozoic?
Yeah. Did they make it?
I don't remember who made it, but they were doing some questionable things, and so Blizzard was like, nope, you can't do it anymore.
Calling the kettle black, right?
Yeah, they pulled the license, yeah. Right.
Because Blizzard never does anything sketchy, right?
Right, okay.
What did Cryptozoic do?
I don't remember if it was Cryptozoic, and I don't want to get into that on this.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Okay, so, episode 2.
Episode 2.
Alright. The Master's TARDIS has now moved within the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
He has shifted it, and he's ended up in the cloister garden.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, Tegan is running around looking for a way out. She keeps wandering around. She can't find a way out.
Demands to see the pilot of the ship.
Yeah, she finally...
She knows it's a ship, which is odd.
Well,
because she went into the police box.
Yeah, but then when it's moving,
yeah.
she refers to the ship because they're doing the landing. Because the Doctor's trying to get the Master's TARDIS out of the TARDIS. So the Doctor wants to land the TARDIS in the Thames.
In a lake, yeah.
And flood them out. He doesn't quite do that.
It's a weird
He lands it all on the pier thingies.
Yeah.
They they go out, and he's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And he sees the Watcher way up on the bridge.
He sees himself, right?
Well, he doesn't know it's himself. He sees the Watcher.
He doesn't know? I thought he knew the whole time. He says, a friend of mine. And the Watcher went to
He
go
has
pick
to
up
see the Watcher to figure out that the Watcher is an aspect of him from the future. The
From
Watcher
the
has to
future?
tell him this.
How does that work?
Time Lords. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Okay. So he goes and he picks up Nissa. Brings her to
Okay, we're not there yet, but yeah.
Logopolis.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
They wave.
Okay.
A little weird like he waves there.
Yeah. So the Doctor goes and talks to the Watcher. You don't know that the Watcher is the Doctor until the very end. And then the Doctor comes back, and Adric was watching them that whole time. In the meantime, Tegan is still running around inside the TARDIS trying to find a way out. She bumps into the Master's TARDIS in the Cloister Garden, and she senses that it's evil because she really backs off from it. She really does not like the Master's TARDIS.
Does a U-turn.
Yeah, it does a strict U-turn.
Leaves her purse.
Yeah.
The TARDIS dematerializes.
The Master's TARDIS.
Yeah.
In the meantime, within it, and then the Doctor's TARDIS moves. Because they're now going to Logopolis because it's now important, and the Doctor seems to have been told not only the possible destruction of the universe, but his own impending death.
What do you think the population of Logopolis is?
From the model we saw, maybe 1,000, maybe.
You don't think it's just the one guy, the monitor,
No, it was all those other people.
projecting? Yeah. You don't think that was all like a part of his hive mind thing? You
No.
notice how the city itself was a brain?
It was more Adobe-esque, but it
had the
kind of a
veins.
starfish kind of thing to it or something.
Yeah, the curvy brains and the blood vessels.
No, I did not get that.
I think it was a giant brain. Mugatu was really brainy.
Okay, so hold on. At the end of episode 2 is when Tegan runs into the TARDIS control room, right?
End of episode 2 is the small TARDIS, the TARDIS shrinks.
Oh, okay. So, middle of episode 2, Tegan runs into the control room, and the Doctor should... This is like the third or fourth time someone has stood away on the TARDIS. Mm-hmm. Like Dodo ran in way back in the day.
And he has a thing that fully scans the TARDIS, right? He's used it before.
Yeah, he's not using it now. I mean, heck, he had part of it taken apart. But Adric stowed away in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Okay, so she accidentally stowed away. She didn't mean to. She thought it was an actual... Yeah, she thought it was an actual police box. But, so... Tegan runs into and she's like, I want to talk to the pilot who's in charge here. And she yells with a shrill voice. And the Doctor and Adric just look at each other, look at her, look at each other. Finally, Adric introduces them, and she's like, okay, I want to know about this place, I want to know what's going on. And the Doctor's like, well, we don't have time. They go to Logopolis.
Keegan says her last name.
Jovanka. Tegan Jovanka.
Jovanka?
Jovanka.
Is that Russian?
Her family is from Australia. That got mentioned.
She's
her father,
Australian.
which was the brother of our aunt,
Uh-huh.
was an Australian rancher, and she, I think, had come to London to be an air stewardess.
So Jovanovich is an Australian name.
Jovanka.
Oh, that sounds Russian. German.
It might be German or Czech or something. I don't know, but it sounds vaguely Dutch, South Africanish.
If she was a Australian Czechoslovakian, would you say checkmate?
Oh, that's horrible.
No.
Dum-dum. Oh my. Oh, somebody. Why do they call it a pilot?
Why?
You know, a new TV show. What do they call the first episode of pilot?
Why?
Because it's the first time it's on the air.
Hey.
It's so bad. Alright. So the
Is that why?
I don't think so. It's a bad joke. So the Doctor, Adric, and Tegan in tow. She still has no clue what's going on. All she knows is she went into a phone box. The phone box was Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole big. She's wandering around in it. She can't find anybody. She finally gets back to the control room. There's people there. And then they leave the TARDIS and they're in a different world. Like, completely different. Logopolis.
Giant brain.
It looks more like a starfish to me, or of Adobe houses, but yeah.
Adobe houses?
Adobe.
Crinkly brain matter.
No, Adobe's like mud turned into bricks.
That was a brain. You see the blood vessels, the red lines in it.
If you want, that'd be symbolic. I didn't quite see it, but
it looked like their heads.
Yeah. So the Doctor comes out, and there's the Monitor. Like you said, everybody looks like Mugabe from Zoolander. Like Mugatu. Everybody looks like Mugatu. They've got the same hair, the same color, and
Will Ferrells.
Yeah, a lot of Will Ferrells.
A lot of Ian McKellens.
So the Doctor presents his problem. He needs a solution quickly to fix the TARDIS.
Boopity boop boop.
And the Monitor's like, this should be easy.
Yeah.
So they go to this building, which has a giant aerial, and is a direct copy of the
Faraday.
No, not Faraday.
Farewell.
No. It's Lighthouse in Greek. Pharaoh. Not the Pharaoh Project.
Pharaoh.
What? Did you write down what the name of the project was?
Fluorescent? No.
The name of this project. Anyway.
Freaky Friday Project.
Pharaohs. That's it. Thank you. Alright.
So the Phosphorescent Project.
No, Pharaohs.
Okay. Lighthouse in Greek, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, that's the reason I drink when we do this. Okay.
And Mugatu's like, I'm basically all powerful. I can boop 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 boop. Here's your chameleon circuit. Out of nowhere, I just math and atoms together.
There's all these people in all the little Adobe things, and they have abaci, and they each have an abacus, and they're doing all the numbers in their head, and they intone the numbers as well, and they use the abacuses or abaci, and
they don't like computers, even though
they find
all of episode 3 could have been avoided if they had a computer.
What is it called? Spatial something mapping?
Block.
Spatial block what?
Block computing. Block mathematics.
It was like spatial block computing or something.
Something.
All right. Anyway, lots of technical jargon. The Master shows up. His TARDIS was inside the Doctor's TARDIS. Then, right after the Doctor lands, the Master's TARDIS
shows up as a pillar.
Well, first it shows up as a tree, a plant,
inside
a shrub.
the garden.
And then it changes to a pillar when it goes inside one of the Adobe things.
Outside of the TARDIS. Yeah.
He goes around just slaughtering the Logopians, like
Logopolitans.
Yeah, Logopolitans. Yeah. He just slaughters them. Like they find I don't know how many little doll Logopolitans, and then even after that, he destroys everything. He destroys Logopolis completely.
The fabric of time and space starts to unravel as entropy, that their brain matter has been holding back the entire universe unraveling.
Okay, we're not there yet, but yeah. I don't know if you're driving. Okay. Anyway.
The end of the universe.
So, they get this computation. The Doctor goes into his TARDIS. He wants to leave, and he asked the Monitor to watch over Adric and Tegan because he knows he's going to a possibly doomed fate. He's in the TARDIS.
And Nyssa was there, right?
Yeah, Nyssa then shows up.
But not Vanessa, because she's dead.
Vanessa.
Auntie Vanessa.
Yeah, no, she's dead.
Or the policeman.
So, anyway, Nyssa shows up, and the doctor's in the TARDIS trying to make things work, and then the TARDIS starts shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and it gets down about yay tall off the ground, about 2 feet tall. End of episode 2.
About 2 feet?
Yeah. Right.
About 2 feet right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Episode 3.
Episode 3?
The TARDIS shrank.
The end of the universe. No, that's the end of episode 2 is the TARDIS shrinking.
Yeah. So...
we're on episode 3.
Yeah. The monitor's like, oh, this is horrible.
It's like,
there must be something went wrong. The honor of Logopolis is at stake, but we can fix this. And he has everybody grab the TARDIS.
Picks it up.
They pick it up. Once again,
Like,
this goes back to a couple weeks ago when you asked me how much it weighed. And I said, well, it weighs as much as it needs to.
about as much as a police box.
Yeah. And
you get 4 people carrying.
Yeah, it's shifting. The doctor is on the floor, and he's like all kind of like, and they take it back to
But it's like
the
infinite
station.
in mass on the inside, right?
Infinite in dimension.
So infinitely heavy.
Well, it could be.
Could be.
But it's infinite in dimension.
But then it would have no energy, right?
It depends. And later on, we'll see the TARDIS when it is fully, the outside becomes as big as the inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the size of a planet?
Really big. And that is...
It's no moon, right?
No, but I'm trying to remember...
And then the master's like, to get near your planet, she'll be, oh, Nyssa, you're... And she goes, Tatooine, my mother-in-law, my father, smudged
My
out.
mother and my father.
Mother-in-law.
Stepmother. Stepmother, that's it. Alright, hold on. You keep getting ahead of it.
We're episode 3.
I mean,
TARDIS is moved.
Right, TARDIS is moved. They go back to the research project, and
the stasis field.
They put a stasis field around the TARDIS, and which looks kind of like these deals they use later in Turn Left. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I haven't seen that one yet.
not yet. You will.
Week after next.
Much longer down the road.
Castro Volva.
Yeah.
Revolva.
Castrovalva. That is the next serial, and that's the first one with the 5th Doctor, Peter Davison.
I should put that one upside down.
No, stop putting this. All right. So anyway,
Pete Davidson.
Peter Davison.
That's the name of a comedian, Pete Davidson.
Okay, I don't know about that, but I know Peter Davison. No,
you don't know Pete Davidson?
No.
Oh, okay. Peter
Davison. All right. So anyway, the
1D, right? Not Davidson.
1D, Davison.
Davison. Okay.
All right. They're trying to get the Doctor out of the TARDIS, and they're trying to regrow the TARDIS.
But it's too small.
Right. The monitor, that's why they put it in the stasis field, to keep it. And the monitor's trying to figure out where the problems went wrong. Well, what happened was that all the people out in Logopolis, the Logopolitans, they do all the calculations for this stuff. But the Master killed like 10 or 12 or 15 of them or something.
Like 3 of them.
We see 3 directly. Yeah. But then there's a whole bunch of empty spots when they're running around, and you got to figure out the Master killed those.
He wipes out the whole population, half the universe.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
He's basically Thanos.
Right. So,
but 3 on camera. Just so you know.
So the computations are good to a point. After that, they're bad. And
he takes Adric, and they start tracking down the...
And they figure out what happens, yeah.
These people are small. They can't count. When they're small, they're dead.
They're dead.
They're old China dolls. So this is where it all went wrong, right? So
yeah.
They rush back.
And they figure out the numbers.
Hold it up to the doctor.
Yeah. And, okay, Adric...
Real smart guy.
Real smart guy. But he's playing about a 14-year-old boy. and
can do long division in his head. Really impressive.
Yeah, he has some problematic attitudes with women, which first start to show up here.
Yeah.
Remember, it's like, we've got work to do. He's like, we are doing it. That, and when he and Nissa are about to go out, he's like, no, this is dangerous. I mean, at least that's a relatively gentlemanly thing, right? But she insists on going with him.
Right. He's my only insurance. And Adric said, no, he should stay in the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Basically, he's a sexist, right?
Well, I think lots of people are when they're 14 years old. The point is he has the attitude of
men's work.
Well, essentially, he has the attitude of a 14-year-old boy who's not grown up or matured towards women, which he's playing that part, so it makes sense. But this...
So he's a savant.
Well, yeah.
Socially awkward, very smart.
Well, yeah, but no, he just has that attitude of he's not matured, and he considers what he does better than what they do.
Like I do, right?
Like you do what?
You just described me.
You consider what you do better than what women do?
No.
Okay. But his attitude towards that, and some of the conflict between him and Tegan and Nissa.
Do I have an attitude? I really relate with Audric. I was thinking about getting the Prince haircut. Alright.
No.
So I finished that thought.
But anyway, some of his attitude towards women and really kind of comes out to the forefront in this serial. Mm-hmm. And it creates a bit of a dynamic of animosity between several of the companions that plays out a bit more later on. But it first kind of rears its head here because it's the first time. Yeah, it's the first time there are at least Tegan's a little older, but Nissa's looks right about his age, you know.
Yeah, they were budding romantics, and we never had this problem with Romana and Adric.
Well, no, because she was a good bit older as opposed to a little bit or the same age, and B, she was a time lady, and she was already with the Doctor when he got on board. You know, so he respected what she was able to do.
Pulling seniority, right, on this and Tegan.
Kind of. It's kind of, yeah. Me and the Doctor are going to take care of this. You know, this is man's work. Let us do it. And he kind of feels protective of the Doctor. He kind of feels more akin to the Doctor. And
doesn't want to endanger the companions like the Doctor does, right?
Yeah, and we don't know the attitudes of his culture. If you remember,
E-Space.
Right. Well, in E-Space, the planet he came from,
he stole melons, which were really spider eggs, right?
Well, it turned out, yeah, eventually. But
gross. Okay,
but in E-Space, his culture, all of the people in command were male.
Yeah.
So their triumvirate at the top was all male.
Yeah.
The leaders of the gang he was in were male. Their society seems to be fairly traditionally masculine, and this is probably where he gets his attitude towards women, and that's fine. I mean, you can't judge everybody by the standards of today. They have to have their own culture and their own attitudes, you know?
Yeah, the standards of the future.
Well, he's from E-Space, a completely different dimension. But it causes a little bit of drama in the TARDIS, and which is fine. Like I said, he's acting like a 14-year-old child who has yet to figure out to like girls.
Yeah, he does other teenage stuff too. Like he won't clean his room, so they ejected it. No,
that was
Romana's
room. Apparently he wasn't cleaning Romana's room. So
okay.
But anyway, you start to see not glimmers, but good examples of this in this serial. And they use that to create some drama. The funniest part is he's been with the Doctor longer, but we end up with a new Doctor. Yeah. Okay, so he believes the Master is the guy in white, the Watcher. So they go out looking for him.
And the Watcher could have been like, nah, it's not me.
Well, eventually the Watcher does talk to Adric.
Eventually.
Yeah. The Watcher talks to the Doctor. The Watcher talks to Adric. He does not talk to either of the young ladies.
He talks to Nissa because he picked her up on...
we don't see that, but yeah.
So
you're probably right. Yeah. So yeah, Nissa ended up getting to Logopolis.
He said he's a friend of
yours. A friend of yours. Yeah. And the Doctor's like, oh yeah, he is. But it's interesting because that means she didn't come with the Master, who you think she came with at first.
Right.
She didn't come with the Master, which meant that the Watcher had access to a TARDIS.
I think she came with the Master.
No, she came with the Watcher because he had access to a TARDIS. That's how we got from Earth to Logopolis and to Traken. Is he had access to a TARDIS somehow, even though he was a future aspect of the Doctor.
Yeah, the TARDIS. Same TARDIS, different Doctor. From the future,
okay.
Traveled back in time with the other TARDIS.
But it's only the very next Doctor
Mm-hmm.
is the Watcher.
Yeah.
But he somehow did this. It's that future echo before he was there, and we'll get something not too dissimilar to this. A future Doctor with the next Doctor.
Sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
So, they can only regenerate 12 times, so 13 lives.
Yeah.
Unless they
get a new set of regenerations.
Or
get a new set of regenerations, or in the case of the Master has...
took over that guy's body.
Took over the Tremus's body because Tremus still had energy from being the Keeper. Tremus was the Keeper, he had extra abilities and extra energy. And so when the Master took that over...
Tremus never became the Keeper, though.
No, but it was when the Keeper died.
Yeah, and the Master became the Keeper.
Yeah, sorry, the Master became the Keeper. Yeah. And that's how he was able to take over Tremus' stuff.
So if they had enough energy, they could do that with clones? Can't they just make...
the problem is the Master keeps coming back time and time again, going through... You don't know how many lives.
He's the timeless child, the Master is.
I wish he was.
Oh, you do? But he's not.
Not that we know of as of yet.
Okay.
That still has yet to be resolved, and probably never will be resolved. Right.
As are most Doctor Who plot holes, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, for the Master, as you obviously see here, he does look so much like Delgado.
He does.
It's perfect. It works great. Future Masters do not look like Delgado. They have different aspects completely.
Like breasts.
Well, Missy does, yeah.
Yeah. They no longer look like V for Vendetta Hugo Weaving. The burn victim. Like in The Assassin.
Yeah, and towards the end of or towards the middle of Keeper of Traken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Anyway, okay. You're trying to make this 3 hours, aren't you? Exactly.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. So the Doctor gets back up to size, gets back up to snuff. They go out and he finds out that Adric and Nissa are looking for the Master. Meantime, they're just running around looking for him. All these different people.
The Watcher.
Yeah, looking for the Watcher. Well, he's looking for the Watcher. He thinks the Watcher's the Master. But all these different people are gone. The Master himself calls Nissa to him. Mm-hmm. Convinces her that he's her father because he looks like her father. Because that's the body he took. He gives her a bracelet that allows him to control her.
Yeah.
Much like the one used in City of Death. It doesn't look like it, but allowed him to kill her, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots happens. The last several serials, not too much happened. This one, a lot of stuff happens. It's a finale, and the other the last 5 seasons, the finale was 6 episodes. This one felt like it could have been 6 episodes. The recaps are about this long.
Gets right
Short
into
little
it,
recaps, yeah. So
very impactful.
the Master sets up a sound barrier after he kills several more Logopians.
The stasis thing, it projects the sound canceling. So now they can no longer hear each other's calculations.
Right, they cannot continue the computer functioning that they do. And because they can't do that,
they die. They disappear.
Well, some of them turn to dust. The whole of Logopolis starts falling apart. And the mantra tells them this is what's going to happen. He doesn't believe it. And so they go out and they look. And yes, the whole of Logopolis is falling apart. The rocks are falling down. People are dead. People have turned to dust. The entire maybe 2,000 population of this planet is gone.
The Master is like, I'll just unmute it and it'll be fine, but I'll destroy your whole planet unless you tell me the secret. And the Watchers, or the Monitor is like, I could tell you the secret.
But
and save the whole planet.
Yeah.
But now I'll just let you kill everybody and then tell you the secret anyway afterwards.
So, what it boils down to...
Not a great bluff.
Yeah. What it boils down to is that the entropy theme, just like we had when we, last time with the Time Fourth Warriors Gate, where we had the random and all that stuff, the I Ching and all that. This time the whole theme is entropy.
Yeah.
And the universe being a closed system, entropy had taken over order, so that everything had to fall apart. These guys forestalled the crumbling of the universe by creating wormholes into other universes so that it opened up more of a system so it wouldn't fall apart yet. And they were doing this as a last-ditch measure to forestall it. And that's the whole reason they had the Pharos project and the big deal to shoot that stuff out.
Yeah.
And the Doctor says, oh yeah, we went through one of your holes, tying in the whole thing to E-Space in with this beautifully. And he's like, oh, okay. Logopolis is falling apart completely. The Monitor ends up dying.
There's a lot of holes and entropy in hole. What?
Everyone's dead and falling apart. Logopolis is gone.
It's really sexy.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Doctor tells everybody to get on the TARDIS and go with the Watcher, who is now the Doctor's TARDIS. The Doctor...
The same TARDIS he used the whole time, right?
Yeah, from another time or something.
I'm guessing.
So they never explain this.
No.
Never, ever, ever explain it fully.
Never did.
Okay, so...
They explained it in the 5th episode.
Right.
To make the air date.
So, so the 3 companions are going to go off the Watcher. Tegan, complaining shrill Tegan, comes out, runs and chases the Doctor, the Master. Oh, the end of episode 3 is the Doctor and the Master teaming up to stop the universe from collapsing. Because as it goes here, it's going to go through the entire universe.
Yeah.
And the end of the episode is them shaking hands and
very uneasy alliance between these two nemesis rivals.
Right, yeah, like
up for like the 5th time.
3rd
to
time.
Immediately have him stab him in the back like 12 minutes later.
Yeah, that's what the Master does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the 3rd or 4th time they've teamed up. But the Master is definitely a frenemy, you know? Right, so the last episode the 3rd episode could have been 2 episodes. The 4th episode could have been 2 episodes. It should have been a 6-parter.
Yeah. It got cut out though.
Wow, so much. So, episode 4, the Watcher takes Adric and Nyssa outside the universe. They're outside of time and space, but they can see the universe through the scanner.
The colors get inverted for a second, and that's how you know.
Well,
outside.
Not the world's best special effects, but special effects.
And then they can see the entire universe And then this was like, there's my planet. Oh, it's gone. Just watched everything I know vanish.
Okay, this is similarly akin to both Series 13 Flux.
Batman as Bruce Wayne, right?
No.
Watches his parents die.
Wait,
Seeks
hold on.
revenge.
Series 13 Flux, or the last episode of Series 5.
Which one is that? I should turn that one upside down.
No, stop that. Alright.
Okay.
No.
I won't remember.
The one where the stars went out. Can't think of the episode, but I'll find it. But this whole universe being destroyed, as in this case, entropy consumes it, happens a couple of times later. In Doctor Who. Not with entropy. Not with entropy. One is the stars going out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No, actually 3 times. The stars go out on Turn Left. The stars go out on Series 5 final episode. And most of the universe gets eaten in Flux.
Wow.
Yeah.
So living in a small universe.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Turn Left was an alternate timeline.
So it doesn't count.
Well, it's... Yes and no. Alright.
Right.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. Alright, so the Doctor teams up with the Master. They go back to get the program to try and take it to Earth, the Earth computer, so they can beam it out and stop the universe from collapsing to entropy.
Yeah, in the nasal coccyx.
In the what?
Casual nexus.
Casual nexus.
Yeah. Causational.
Nexus.
Conversational net.
Right.
Netflix.
Anyway, in the meantime, Tegan runs out of the TARDIS and catches up to him. Before the TARDIS leaves.
She said, I ain't leaving. He's my only...
She's running around in her high heels.
Security. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Really running in her high heels. All syrup.
The Watcher kind of disappears. Adric and Nyssa come out. They were looking at the scanner. She sees, like, her star, her planet, everything disappear. That's when she says the line, first he killed my stepmother, then he killed my father, now he's killed my entire planet.
A lot of them out.
Yeah.
Very depressing.
Yeah, so the Doctor is working on the computer, and he wants to take the computer program down to Earth. The Master decides to run for it.
Yeah, the computer fried, but the chips are still magnetically holding the information of the
bubble something.
memory,
Yeah,
right?
bubble
So it
memory.
takes out the chips.
So
You got to take them to an Earth computer.
Nyssa's helping with that.
Of all the computers in the universe, he takes it to the Earth computer.
Well, it's because that array was an exact duplicate of the Pharaoh's project, and the Pharaoh's project was on Earth.
Yeah.
So, alright, so the Master runs for his TARDIS, gets hit by a big piece of styrofoam. I'm sorry, a big rock.
Yeah.
Kind of crushed down. The Doctor and Nyssa eventually decide to make for the Master's TARDIS. They find him there, luckily for them. The Doctor lifts off the rock.
End of episode 3.
No.
Oh.
No, we're well into episode
They
4.
shake hands.
That's the end of episode 3.
Uneasy lines.
Alright, so, and the Doctor lifts off the rock and says, one good lift deserves another.
I lift this rock, you give me a lift.
He's like, Earth, oh yeah. They leave, they go to Earth, they go to the Pharaoh's project. The Master's much better at piloting his TARDIS than the Doctor is.
And his works.
Yeah, the chameleon circuit works. So they wind up at the Pharaoh's project. They run out, they program the computer. They have to do it like 2 or 3 times to get it into the core.
Yeah. Doctor doesn't know how a computer works.
In the meantime, Adric and Nyssa...
To run it through the core, right?
Huh? You have to run it up through the core.
The sequence. The bubble memory.
Well, he figures it out.
It's all made up terms.
Well, to be fair, the components are alien, but they were designed as an exact duplicate of that. Because they were using that to beam to create the holes to the other universe. And that's what the Doctor's trying to do, is to beam it out to create a hole to another universe so that the entropy stops in this one, because apparently in a closed system that will always happen. I don't necessarily agree with that, but sure.
Did you run it through the core of your computer?
I think it's a 12 core.
12 core processor.
So the Doctor and the Master get everything programmed, but they have to go to the antenna. In the meantime, Adric, figuring out they had to go there, he and Nyssa. Adric and Nyssa are aliens. They are from highly advanced civilizations in terms of mathematics and electronics. So they actually know how to fly the TARDIS the way a human wouldn't.
He said it's gold star. Like, he owns the place, right?
He does. Well, to be fair,
glad to see me.
Much earlier in the serial, the Doctor's giving him very abstract technological, geometrical, and physics ideas.
Yeah.
And he's coming up with the correct answers, Adric is, and the correct figurings for them.
Because he's a nerd.
Well, because he's super smart, because that's what they did on his planet. And the Doctor looks at him and goes, "You're right." So, I mean, this is he and Nyssa, both being aliens from advanced technology, to planets that are advanced technologically, can figure it out. Yeah. And they do. And he pilots the TARDIS down to the Pharos Project.
I figured it out too. I could have. He reversed the polarity. Right?
Drink. Hey, you need another drink.
So then.
And that one's empty too.
So then.
So the Doctor, the Master,
he regenerates.
The Doctor, the Master, and Tegan are trying to get to the antenna array, and they get come up behind by Nyssa and Adric. The Doctor, the Master, and Tegan get seen by these guards because the Master keeps wanting to shrink people and kill them and shrink people and kill them, and the Doctor keeps stopping him. Finally, the Doctor takes his weapon and throws it away. And that's when the guards hear them, see them, and chase them.
Should have kept the weapon.
Yeah.
It looks like a phallic device.
It kind of does. Like a Flesh Gordon gun. No, I was going to say you should go get another drink, or at least toss those. Alright. Just make sure you're good to drive.
Episode 4.
Yeah, we're still on episode 4. Like I said, this should have been 2 episodes. Episode 3 should have been 2 episodes.
Then the Doctor dies.
We're getting there. Alright. Okay. So, Adric, they're being chased, the Doctor, Tegan, and the Master, by the guards. They kind of hide. And then Nyssa and Adric show up and create a diversion. Tegan runs out with them to help with that. And Doctor and Master, now the guards are diverted, make their way towards the array. The Doctor and the Master put everything in. They use the array to beam the signal out to keep the wormhole open, ECV or whatever they call it. Keep the wormhole open to another universe to stop the entropy. Apparently, because I don't really come back to it, the entropy works and only part of the universe is destroyed. In the meantime, the Master decides, you know what? I control the wormhole. I can decide if the universe lives or dies. I'm going to be the master of the universe. Not to be confused with the cartoon. So, the Doctor is out on this giant the giant satellite dish thingy. And the Master makes a turn. And the Doctor's trying to hold on literally for his life. And eventually, he manages to get to some scaffolding that'll work. Or some brace pieces. But he can't hold on forever. and he falls, literally to his death. Tegan, Adric, and Nyssa are watching this. They run up to him, and in the meantime, the Master has gotten back in his TARDIS and left after he watches the Doctor fall. Tegan, Adric, and Nyssa run up to the Doctor, and they're kind of around him, and you see kind of a long death for the Fourth Doctor, where you see several, bad guys come in front of his view. Cybermen, Sontarans, Daleks, Davros, Master. Good water, good.
And then he dies.
Well, yeah, literally, we're to that point. So he sees a bunch of these bad guys in front of his face, kind of like your life flashing before your eyes, and then there's a litany of the companions, as we saw a bit both with Pertwee before him and stuff like that. And later on, this is extrapolated even further when the 10th Doctor kind of visits a bunch of his companions before he dies, very briefly. And so all the companions go in front of his eyes.
Actually visits them, or just a flashback?
No. He actually does a little bit of a goodbye tour for just a little bit.
And none of them recognize him, right?
No, they the ones who can remember him recognize him. The one who can't doesn't. Anyway, so his companions, Leela, Sarah Jane, the Brigadier, Sergeant Benton, Romana 1 and Romana 2. You get both versions of Romana. K9. They all flash before his eyes, saying Doctor. And then, of course, you get the same from Nyssa and Tegan. They're in that way. And then Adric. And then the Watcher, the man in white, walks up and kind of phasingly lays down where the Fourth Doctor is.
And he gives him those handsprings to work on his grip strength so he won't fall next time.
Well, no, we just get a younger Doctor.
Well, I mean, that would have been the smart thing to do, right?
Well, much earlier. You're eventually going to run out of strength anyway. And the Watcher lays down in the same spot, and you see... His new
lapel is a carabiner, so he won't fall.
You see a transition from the Fourth Doctor to basically the Watcher, and then into Peter Davison. Yep, okay. Fifth Doctor, the youngest Doctor to date at that point.
His collar is a lot more under control than Baker's collar was.
Well,
did you see his collar? It's like this big.
Okay, to be fair, this is the main costume for Baker, but in that last season, he had the purple one, and he had that collar with the question marks on his shirt.
He had a huge collar.
Right. So anyway, Davison kind of sits up, looking young and blonde.
Yep.
And end of episode 4.
Regenerated. No more Baker.
Tom Baker comes back a couple of times.
2 more times.
Once in the 20th anniversary special, the 5 Doctors.
We have a few years.
No.
That's true.
We have 1 year.
1 year?
Yeah, look, okay. So, here's Peter Davison's first season.
Yeah.
No, sorry, 2 years. We have 2 years. Here's the 5 Doctors.
Okay.
We have 2 years before we get there.
I'll turn that one upside down.
No, stop it.
Okay.
But the 5 Doctors, they don't use... He doesn't come back normally. They use clips of him from Shada. Because at the time it was unaired. So they use clips of Shada to get him in.
Did they ever do that with Hartnell? Because the 3 Doctors was kind of like his last.
It was. Hartnell is replaced, and the first Doctor is played by other actors later on.
Multiple?
2, yeah. 1 for the 5 Doctors, and then later on down the line, remember I showed you An Adventure in Time and Space?
Yeah.
The guy from Harry Potter who plays him?
Yeah, the janitor guy.
Yeah, then comes back and plays him in the actual show.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
You think they're going to do that with Baker?
I think a precedent was set for the first Doctor, and they've with the exception of body doubles for some insanely brief scenes. They've never done that for any of the other Doctors.
You don't think they're going to?
I don't think so. I think they're going to leave it alone. They just did it they've only done it for the first Doctor.
You know the thing Disney's doing with all the Star Wars TV shows and the CGI faces for...
Well, they put
Mark Hamill and...
Yeah, they put people in who were dead a long time with all that. Yeah.
Admiral...
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin. Princess Leia comes back in the end of Rogue One.
Part of that was bits of scenes they had cut for the second movie that they had to force in for the third, for the Disney trilogy. And some of that may have been CGI. I don't know.
Oh, the Rogue One ending scene.
Never seen Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
I saw episode 7 and stopped.
All CGI.
Okay.
Like, what is that? She goes, hope. It's hope.
Okay.
And then Darth Vader's like...
So, unlike the last several serials,
mm-hmm.
this one really did need to be longer. There was so much going on.
Very impactful.
Very, very frenetic. Boom, 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 boom. Just all the way through. And it's got a bunch of really different things. First of all, this is the first time the Master's been back in a real form, not the burnt out husk.
Yeah.
Since the third Doctor. And the array that they go to is very much like the array when we first meet the Master mm-hmm. with the third Doctor. And he's using the shrink ray just like he used back then. So it's a lot of it's a big callback.
The calling sign of the Master.
Right. Second of all, the Watcher is very, very different. Mm-hmm. Very unique. Pretty much in all of Doctor Who and how all that's pulled off.
Very confusing.
Very confusing.
All that good stuff.
Third of all, like I said, a lot of this kicks into future stuff, or is like it in many ways, like the Flux, or Turn Left, or the Pandorica Opens. That's the name of the episode. Pandorica Opens.
Should I turn that one upside down?
No, it's not turning those down.
Alright.
Did you have any questions for episodes 2, 3, and 4? Because I think we just
kind of covered most of them throughout the episode.
Alright.
Most of the questions were in episode 1. I did have some statements for the rest of them.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Well, yeah, although some of it was there's a good bit of it that was confusing, from the Watcher to the pace at which everything fell apart and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I could ask those questions. Who is the white dude? It's the Watcher.
The Watcher / the Doctor.
Yeah.
The future aspect of the Doctor who was there to help the current Doctor.
I have a lot of questions like that it answered.
Okay, wait. What questions did you have?
We talked about the Doctor's vigilantism with the meddling monk doing the same thing as Romana.
Yeah, he goes dark sometimes. It just really...
And that's Goodbye Baker.
Wait, did you have any more questions?
I think we covered them for Logopolis. That's about it. Oh, the death count?
Yeah, what's the death count? There was a good number of deaths.
8 on screen and dozens more off screen.
Hundreds, if not thousands off screen.
Well,
I mean, all Logopolis dies.
Half the universe off screen.
I would probably say about a quarter of it from the looks on the scanner.
Yeah, there's a few trillion people, probably.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah. Okay, so...
We're gonna vote.
We're gonna vote. Did we vote on season 17?
It's a great question. I think so.
And if so, who was the winner?
It's a great question. I'll tell you next week.
What? Wait, why?
I don't remember.
Wait, what? Alright, don't you have it in your notes?
In the other notebook, yeah.
Wait, you don't have that one here?
It's in the truck.
It's in your truck.
getting digitized. It's in the house. Yeah.
Okay, I think
PDF
we've done season 17.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and the City of Death was it.
City of Death.
It was the City of Death. And if we didn't, we'll do it, but it's going to be the City of Death. Alright. I don't know. I love the idea of a computer brain people holding the universe together with thought / computations. It's very imaginary of Dr. Parnassus.
I was just about to say, it reminds you of the chant that they're doing.
Yeah, I love that. It's so Eastern and Zen and stuff.
Yeah. This one had wide implications that I was not expecting.
And we went from essentially one companion 2 serials ago to a second companion last year who didn't join the TARDIS till this year.
Right.
To a third companion. We ended up getting 2 companions basically this serial.
Yeah, we're up to 3 companions now.
And 2 of them are alien. And like I was saying a couple serials ago,
We have an E-Spacian.
yeah, yeah, but you end up with for a long time we've had aliens since Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
We had nobody for the Deadly Assassin. Then we had Leela, who was human but an alien human.
17.
Yeah. And then we had Romana, well, K9, a robot. Then we had Romana, who was a Gallifreyan, a Time Lord. Then Adric, who once again is E-Space. And then Nissa, who is from Traken. It's not until Tegan that we actually get a human again. It's been a while.
Auntie Vanessa. But then she dies.
She's not a companion.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Okay.
Why is she written down on my list?
Because you are silly.
Alright.
Alright.
Okay,
Where'd the eraser
season
go?
18.
Hey, what'd you do with the eraser?
Here it is.
Seriously. Ah, here it is. Alright. So we have Leisure Hive, Meglos, Full Circle, State of Decay, Warrior's Gate, Keeper of Traken, and Logopolis.
I'm not mentally prepared for this.
Well, what of these do you dislike?
They're all pretty good. I think the weakest of them might be the Leisure Hive. That was still
I can go with that.
I think they're all pretty good. A couple of them definitely stand out.
We got Adric here.
Full
Circle. State of Decay was the second one where he actually showed up. Oh, this is one of the vampires.
There you go. Cross off the
Right.
Leisure Hive.
I'm cool with that. It was fairly weak. Meglos.
And you're talking
What
about
are we
the
doing,
vampires.
Meglos?
How do you feel about the vampire?
I actually like State of Decay.
Warrior's Gate was fun.
Warrior's Gate was freaky, and we lost Romana and K9.
Yeah. Logopolis was just a huge serial.
Yeah, like I said, it should have been 6 episodes.
Tracking?
Episode 3 was basically 2, and episode 4 was basically 2 episodes.
Keeper of Dragon was fun, but it's so goofy. Very goofy.
Why is it goofy?
I don't know. Just the stage direction.
Okay,
Kind of Scooby.
try to remember what happened in Meglos.
Meglos was not super memorable. I don't have the notes.
Hold on, I can look at that. Alright, so let's go to Meglos. We can't remember what it did. Alright. Full Circle.
Still fun.
State of Decay. This is a weird set of serials. Like, this whole season, Tom Baker's final season, when it goes in the purple, is just strange.
It's a departure from the norm.
It is. You get very odd stories with very odd happenings. Hey, stop that. The E-Space trilogy is weird. The Return of the Master is weird.
Where'd you get this from? Your whiteboard. Where do you get your whiteboards at?
Office
have a good-
Depot.
Office Depot?
Office Depot.
What do you use this for?
Stuff like this.
You have 3 whiteboards in here.
Well, yeah, and I use them for things like that and that.
You have 3 whiteboards dedicated to Doctor Who. Or whoever, as Tegan puts it.
Well, I do other stuff on that one.
Okay.
But yeah, this one's pretty much Doctor Who. Alright, okay, this is the one where the people went around into the circle and became what they were afraid of, and we get Adric. State of Decay was the big vampire one. And the ship. Warrior's Gate was the little freaky space in between E and N space, where we had the Leonin. Keeper of Traken is where we get Nyssa and meet the Master again, and Logopolis is the insanely frenetic one we just watched.
You want to just keep working our way down the list? I think it's between. I think Full Circle. I'd probably pass on that one.
Okay.
Even though we got Adric.
I can go with that.
Yeah. It was nice. It was a fun serial.
Okay.
It just didn't have the same
impact.
Tension.
Like I said, it's a very strange season. And this is 1981. Well, we're in 81 now. It started in 80. And
you got even the one backwards. Put 18 as 81.
No, season 18. Broadcast in 1980 and 1981, but season 18.
Yeah, it's backwards.
You should see the movie 18 again if you like that.
18?
18 again.
Again. Oh, with Matthew Perry? Zac Efron?
No. It has George Burns. You're thinking 17.
17 again.
This is
I was off by 1.
Well, right. Okay, what do you think is the best of them in that case?
I feel like I have a bit of recency bias towards Logopolis just because I watched that.
But do you think it's the best?
The Leonin people creep me out in Warrior's Gate. It was the Keeper of Traken was a lot of fun.
And here's the thing: a lot of the season is very cerebral. It's very, very. You've got to follow. They're in some cases going up their own backsides, trying to make things different. You know.
Yeah. Vampires were fun too, but I feel like it falls to the wayside in terms of my engagement in some of these other serials.
I don't know. I do like State of Decay. I'm torn.
Warrior's Gate was like a very big emotional send-off.
Right, for Romana and K9.
So we'll just go ahead and erase that one, right?
Okay, I'm cool with that. I mean, once again, it was good, but it was hard to follow. Not as bad. Oh my gosh, there's a 7th Doctor serial that is so difficult to follow. It's only 3 episodes.
3 episodes.
But the pace is boom, 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 and I swear I've seen it 6 times, and I still don't quite understand all of it. It's just so fast. Gaslight or something like that.
We'll watch it a 7th time.
We will. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Which do you prefer? State of Decay, Keeper of Traken, or Logopolis overall?
Overall? Probably not Keeper of Traken. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it stands up to Logopolis.
Alright. I can get rid of Keeper of Traken. Such a weird season. Okay. Dude, I don't know. I like Logopolis. I think it's a good serial. I think there's a lot of good in it.
Yeah.
I like City of Decay just for the vampires, but I am literally good either way on this.
In terms of like consistency, though, or at least the interactivity, the audience engagement, I feel like the State of Decay was a lot more digestible than Logopolis. Whereas Logopolis was a lot more of a fan note to like the series as a whole.
Well, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
And you introduce the Watcher and the 5th Doctor and Tegan, if not Nyssa.
Yeah. So this is like the nostalgia episode, and this is like a great introductory.
Well, it wasn't introductory for anything except vampires.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's like it was a callback to the Hammer films.
Yeah, let's give it a state of K. Let's go with Logopolis.
I agree.
All right.
Logopolis wins season 18.
Write it down.
Because
we're good.
of recency bias, right? Because that's the.
Well, no, I think it's just such a weird season, and it's only going to get weirder from here. Several of the seasons only have like 4 serials coming up because they're cut in half on episodes from like 26, 28 to 14.
This is where we start seeing the budget hit the show, right? Because funding.
Starting with Davison, who we're getting into, the funding gets cut a bit. It's a combination of the Brits are still suffering from the after effects of World War II. They're only finally at this point getting out of food rationing.
Right.
Right. And for better or for worse, Margaret Thatcher and the Conservative government come to power, and they're cutting public services, which I have zero problem with. I'm a conservative, but Doctor Who's one of the things we hit. Also, the quality goes down for a while, but then comes back up right at the end. The last season, season 26, is actually really good. Right after it gets axed, and then it gets good. I wish they wouldn't axed it, but this is the season 18. The beginning of the 80s is the kind of the beginning of the end, and it kind of just keeps going downhill for a bit. And they tried to kill it off in the mid-80s. There was an 18-month hiatus between the first and second seasons of the Sixth Doctor. The one upper left. And upper left. Yeah. My
Your
left. Your, but there was an 18-month hiatus between season 22 and season 23. When they were literally trying to kill the show off, but public demand was so much that they had to bring it back.
It's popular.
Yeah. But yeah, this is during the time when they kept cutting down the number of episodes and stuff.
You ever have any like crossover episodes with other shows? Now it's the 80s. We could have had like an Austin Powers themed.
No. Later on, so this week we finished the 4th Doctor. We're about to start the 5th. But in between, we have the single episode of K9 & Company. Yes. Which we've watched, but we didn't really go over. Because we got about a little ways into it and said, screw it, because we'd already watched the full serial before that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're finally going to do a full episode on that next week. And then we'll get into the 5th Doctor, Davison, with Castrovalva. But later on, in the Russell T Davies era, the current revival, there are a lot of spin-offs. And the Doctor shows up in those spin-offs sometimes, and they show up in Doctor Who sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a good bit of crossover between the shows. Think Marvel stuff before Marvel shows before there was Marvel shows, with all the interconnectedness between stuff.
Scooby-Doo teams up with Batman.
The Simpsons show up on Family Guy and vice versa.
Yeah. Kiss shows up in this episode.
Alright, okay. Did you enjoy this serial overall?
I did.
Good.
It was our favorite of the season. So join us next week when we vote on our favorite season
of K9 & Company.
K9 & Company.
Our favorite episode. One episode. And what's it called? The pilot, because the first time on air. Yeah, we'll do K9 & Company. You'll get a full review of that. It's about an hour and a half. Not our episode, but that episode.
We'll do an hour and a half on it, though, probably.
We'll see. I think we did about an hour and a half tonight.
Yeah, 3 hours.
No, the battery's still going.
Those are rookie numbers, Hatter. We gotta get those numbers up.
Well, this one theoretically could have gone longer, but the battery's still going. We wouldn't need the other battery.
What if we aim for an hour every single episode?
The last couple have been right about at an hour, yeah.
Right there.
What?
Mid-sentence.
No, okay. Now, to be fair, as these serials keep getting shorter, we're having 4-parters now. There's no more 6-parters. and we're having 2-parters occasionally,
Mm-hmm.
our episodes are going to get shorter. We don't have these big 6 or 8 or 12 or 10-parters. There's a couple of exceptions like Flux, and the 2 Doctors is a good 3 hours because it's 3 1-hour episodes or 45-minute episodes.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
What?
It's a bell, a cloister bell.
Ding.
Cloister bell. It's been an hour, Hatter. Battle stations. Battle stations, Hatter.
The Cloister Bell comes back. The phone in the TARDIS comes back. We will see them again. Alright, enjoy. Thank you and good night. Wait. We need a toast. Toast.
Toast.
To Tom Baker, the 4th and greatest Doctor.
And to toast.
Yay. I love toast.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Bum bum.